One of the functions we do on SF6 breakers is to check for leaks. Most times you would know there's a leak because you'd have to go there and top it up occasionally. This one came into the shop for that reason. That's why it's in here. So we're going to check for the leaks. This would be typical of any dead tank breaker, how we would check for leaks, and even other breakers. The device we have is a pretty accurate device. We had pretty good success. We have the luxury of being in a shop setting, so the wind won't be a factor. So we should be able to detect the leak where it is on this breaker. It had to get topped up about every 6 months. So it's a pretty pronounced leak. Should be fairly detectable with this device. Areas of interest would be the flanges on the ends of the poles here. Checking around here. On this breaker, there's the operating shafts here, here, and over there. Of course, there. When you're checking those, you should operate the breaker from closed to open. That way you get the shaft in both directions, both positions, I should say. So we also have all the fittings. So there's fittings here, there's some on the back. Also the densimeter fittings. On the back side of the breaker, there's rupture discs. There's also the bushing flanges. We'll be able to go up underneath the CT wells and check for leaks in there. The advantage here also in the shop is that with SF6 being heavier, it'll float down. So if we have a leak in the bushing well, it should come down. We should be able to detect it, even though it's shrouded by the CTs and their shrouds. Okay, we're going to start checking for leaks. This device has 2 modes. It's a pretty accurate device. Right now we have it in the mode where you actually get a quantity of leak, and it's in liters per year. And you can switch modes to just how much is the leak, a little bar graph here. And the advantage of this is if the checking for leaks, you're in the bucket. The guy in the bucket has the handheld device. The worker down below has the box in front of him and can help direct where to look for the leak as the bar graph goes up. So anyway, we're going to check on the shafts here. You move fairly slowly around. Like I say, if we search anything out, we'll get a little noise. Got to be careful when you're putting the tip in. You don't damage it. There. Over to this flange here. If there's an SF6 leak, it'll respond probably within 2 seconds of you being in contact with it. Now, if you're in windy conditions, a lot of guys are familiar with the bagging technique where you put a garbage bag over the area of interest, tape it off so that it captures the SF6, and then you would cut a little hole and poke this into the bag, and if there was SF6 in there, it would alarm, and you'd know the leak was in that area. Okay, next we'll check underneath the bushings for the CT wells. Again, the advantage is SF6 being heavier should sink. And it should be very detectable. Another area of interest is the rupture discs. Be a little careful here, just sort of here, actually probably a better place. They actually have a hole right here. So doesn't appear to be anything there. There. Flanges, we can check those. And then check this rupture disc here. Oh, a little something there. We have a leak there. Go over here and check a little closer then. Definitely that flange. That's why it came into the shop, was for a leak, and there it is. Again, pretty easy to do in the shop setting here. There's no wind, but very accurate. I will switch displays here now on this to go to a more of a quantitative measure. So we've got the zeros there. So if the person on the ground was watching this and the person in the bucket, you can see where the worst part of the leak was. I'm going to go over here. About at the 9 o'clock position there. Just try this side. Almost the same thing. Try and narrow the search here on this. We have gas from the flange there, but it might be somewhere else too. Not too big of numbers. I'll go up to the bolt here. There, it's off scale. It almost has the appearance that that bolt is more the leak source than the flange. Let's go back here to the flange. Not off scale there, numbers in the 20s to 30s, but when you go to this bolt, off scale. You can saturate this device and you'll have to take it away and let it reset again. It isn't critical, it's just try the bolt above it here now. Well, it looks like the flange is probably porous, and as a result, gas is even leaking out through the bolt hole. So we found the guilty spot.